what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to bring in some Motley Fool findings in here, right? Here we go. Motley Fool. Let's go over to the big screen here. All right, check this out. I think it's funny. I have fun with it, but check this out, guys. So we're gonna go over here. Let me expand the browser a little bit, right? And here's just when I do a news search for Motley Fool and Dogecoin, right? When I do a news search for Motley Fool and Dogecoin, what do we find here? What do we find here? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. It just doesn't end. So this just came out a day ago, and look at the headline here. And I have to read them in the douchey headline voice. I imagine that the editors and the people in charge of these headlines are in charge of how they would imagine them to sound. So here we go. Just one day ago, the Motley Fool writes, 2 unstoppable stocks that will leave Dogecoin in the dirt. Okay. And this was just yesterday too. Got $5,000? Buy these 2 stocks instead of Dogecoin. This was also just a day ago, a little less than a day ago. The Dogecoin bubble will burst. 3 smart stocks to buy instead. Again, just a day ago, the Motley Fool again. The headline reads, forget Dogecoin. These stocks are better buys during a market crash. Look at this, you guys. So look at this, just for perspective. In the last 24 hours, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 4 Motley Fool headlines just in the last 24 hours bashing Dogecoin. But see how they do it. I want you guys to take note of this. How do they do it? Well, they all have a common theme. And what is that theme that we're seeing here, guys? They all have the word Dogecoin in the titles. And then they do a bait and switch where they get your attention with Dogecoin in the title. And then they give you stock suggestions to invest in instead of Dogecoin. Every time. Every time. So it's kind of done under this guise of being a consumer advocate, friend of the consumer. Don't believe the Dogecoin hype. Well, it's one thing if that's your opinion and you're writing opinion pieces that you don't think Dogecoin is a worthwhile investment. That's fine. That's fine. I know people that feel that way, and I understand why some people feel that way. But that's not where they stop with the Motley Fool. It's never just about that with them. It's always about using Dogecoin and manipulating Dogecoin as clickbait so they can pimp to you guys their preferred stock investments that they're pushing at the Motley Fool so they can increase their bottom lines and their sponsorship over there. So look at this. Here is the most recent article that Motley Fool has written. 2 unstoppable stocks that will leave Dogecoin in the dirt. These highly profitable businesses could run circles around the popular cryptocurrency. First sentence. If you feel like you're missing out on the cryptocurrency craze that drove Dogecoin to dizzying heights recently, you're not alone. Investors who held the cryptocurrency in their wallets for the 12-month period that ended May 6 saw the value of each token rocket 25,000% higher. So this is another thing to keep in mind, how hypocritical and silly this is. So the Motley Fool has been bashing Dogecoin as being a terrible investment for how long now? How many months now? But then once you actually click on it, within the first paragraph, there, look at this. Within the first paragraph, this is basically a full-on admission that it was a great investment. It was a phenomenal investment. Investors who held the cryptocurrency in their wallets for the 12-month period that ended May 6 saw value of each token rocket nearly 25,000%. Now, they backhand this with Elon Musk's endorsement of Dogecoin drove its price through the roof this spring. Okay, yeah, that was great. But now it's saying that people have already lost money since then, though. And Musk admitted that Dogecoin was a quote-unquote hustle during a mock interview on Saturday Night Live. Well, guys, anyone and everyone knows who saw that skit on Saturday Night Live. They know full well the context of that. What do I always talk about and advocate for here on Steven Steele Live? Everything is about context. No matter what you're forming your opinion on, whether it's cryptocurrency or anything else in this earth or anything else in this life, it's all about context. Truth seeking and finding truth and finding the reality of what's really going on and forming the best, most informed opinions you can, whether it's on cryptocurrency or anything else in this world, is all about context. If you want to cut through the BS, if you want to cut through the corporate media crap that they're shoveling in your face every day, look at the full context. Look at context. Context is everything. And unfortunately, in this current media environment, it's the single most thing that the corporate media finds most expendable, most flexible, is context. So obviously, anyone with common sense could see that skit that Elon was in on Saturday Night Live and know that when he said it was that Dogecoin was a hustle, that he was doing it both reluctantly and out of complete jest. And it was a very lighthearted thing. So, and the Motley Fool isn't the only news outlet that's done this with Elon in relation to that skit on Saturday Night Live since then. This isn't just unique to the Motley Fool. I've seen the corporate press do this continuously and hammer Elon as admitting, quote unquote, admitting that Dogecoin was a hustle, a scam, etc. Patently disingenuous, patently dishonest. And the reason why they do this is strictly to improve their own bottom lines, to build stories that are more salacious, to get more people clicking and talking and sharing links and this sort of thing. Well, that's fine. I guess that's fine. I mean, that's what they do. That's what the media is doing. That's what they do more than anything these days. But I have a right to call them out. I have a right to call my attention to this, you know what, and try to educate my audience on it. So here they are complaining and trying to put fear in people's minds over Dogecoin, where they're like, people are already losing money since it rose to 25,000% over the last year. Now that's receding, so that means Dogecoin's a loser. It's a loser investment. It's a scam investment. I'm like, you guys, you'd be hard pressed to find any stock over the last few years that have risen to 25,000%, and even after its retracement, that still puts Dogecoin at around, I'm putting general guesstimate on around, and this is a modest one too, about 13,000, 14,000% higher than it was where it was a year ago. So for these folks to shovel this narrative that Dogecoin is a terrible investment, we even know it's up to the tune of 14,000% over where it was in 2020, get out of here. Give me a break, guys. Give me a break. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Do you remember that episode of The Office when Andy was trying to figure out what product that jingle was from, and he was getting it wrong throughout the whole episode. He was like, break me off a piece of that. I forget all the things. There was everything but Kit Kat bar. That was a really funny episode. This is the game. This is the play. Back to this article. We go down a little further. Buying stocks and holding on to them for years is usually far less exciting endeavor than trading crypto, but it's still the most reliable way to grow your wealth. You know, I don't dispute that, actually. That's a fairly reasonable statement to make. I don't have a problem with that. So then they quickly pivot. They quickly pivot to stocks that you should invest in, and that's fine. I have a stock portfolio as well. What I do have a problem with is them, promoting their stocks at the expense of bashing Dogecoin and trying to subvert Dogecoin investment dollars and Dogecoin investors into their preferred stocks. Now, why are they promoting these particular stocks? We got Pfizer, we got Amazon, we got, a bunch that are going to click on. So then you click on here, you click on to see these 10 stocks. This is how the Racket works. Then to see the rest of the stocks, you got to give them their email address. And then by submitting their email address, you're consenting to giving the Motley Fool your updates and tons more spam, which, so they can get more sponsorships and get more ad dollars and all this kind of stuff. And that's fine. That's fine. I don't have a problem with it, but don't pretend that we're running a quote unquote hustle because content creators like me love Dogecoin. Well, you guys are just these saintly consumer advocates. Well, just trying to get people's emails and information so you can spam them with all sorts of junk. Like, come on. So the reason why I went through all this is so I can just point out the hypocrisy and the racket that is Motley Fool in relation to Dogecoin. Capiche? Capiche. All right, now we can go on to something else. Let me get the chart back up here, gang.